Welcome to the first edition of What I'm Looking For. In this piece and moving forward, it will be my version of Texas Tech football game previews. Not really diving into stats and those kind of things, but more just the big picture, what I'm looking for the game from the Red Raiders. Now, this is the season opener, Texas Tech versus Houston Baptist, 7 p.m. Saturday at the Jones in Lubbock. Now, this is a different animal here. Texas Tech opening the season in 2020 because it's 2020. Obviously, coronavirus, the COVID-19 has just changed our world for the foreseeable future. Basically, every part of it, including sports, including college football and Texas Tech football. Texas Tech has forged ahead despite a number of positive coronavirus cases. Coach Wells actually said on Monday in his presser previewing the game that none of his players have required anything more than Tylenol. But that being said, this is still obviously very serious, something that's affected the whole world. And Texas Tech is acting accordingly. So with that being said, that makes this game even more emotional, in my opinion, for a lot of people. And then, of course, you have the social unrest, social change that's going on around our country as well, which will be on full display for the game. So there's a lot of things to interpret. There's a lot of things to internalize with the kickoff of this game, the kicking off the season. And I'm going to go over some things that I'm looking for here. And I think starting off, you have to say, first off, with that background that I just painted, that picture I just painted, I'm just thankful that they're playing. That as of Friday, which between Monday when Coach Wells had his weekly game day presser and then Saturday, the players were going to be tested 2 more times. So, anything can happen. Anything from negative tests, anything from false positive tests to a rash of players getting it to who knows what. And like I said, it's 2020. So I'm just thankful that if they do actually kick off, that they kick off. Based on everything that's happening. You have 2 major conferences who aren't already. So, for me, I don't know about y'all, but I need football. And then for my job, I need Texas Tech football too. So I'm just thankful that they're kicking off. All right, and then I think up next you have to say who suits up. Coach Wells, said it perhaps best in that, look, what he says on Monday is not going to be the case on Wednesday, and what's the case on Wednesday is not going to be the case on Friday, and then whatever happens with the final round of tests on Friday will determine who suits up on Saturday. So, and we're not going to have like a press conference the Friday before Saturday. That's just not how college football works. So, we're going to show up to the Jones and see who's suited up in warm-ups and who's playing, and that's how it is. It could be wildly different lineups than what we saw the week before, than what we saw on the depth chart that was released this week. It's gonna be wild in that regard, and showing up to warm-ups and seeing who's out there. You're gonna have guys who you never thought because of coronavirus and just normal injuries and attrition. Guys you never thought were gonna play will be starting in some cases. So it's gonna be wild in terms of watching the depth chart. And that's why I think Texas Tech released a 3 deep for the first time ever, was because they recognize it is going to be wild in terms of who's playing, who's not, and what position. It's going to be crazy. All right, and then finally, the different atmosphere. Obviously, if you're only going to have, 16,000, 17,000 fans or however many it's going to be, much less than the 60,000 we're used to kick off a season, or 55 plus. That's a different atmosphere. I was glad to hear that Fearless Champion, of course, the horse, the masked rider, is going to lead the team out in the field. The going band from Raiderland is not going to be able to march on the field. They're not going to be able to do a lot of the stuff. I think they're going to split up to like half the band's going to go to one game and half's going to go to another. So it's not going to be as big of a band, and they're not going to have as much of an impact. They're not going to be able to do the things that Tech fans have come to love from the going band. So that's a shame, but it's the world we're living in. It's going to be a different atmosphere in the press box. We're lucky both for this week. It's going to be a week-by-week basis. that both Joe Yeager, our senior writer, and myself were able to get credentials for this game. But who knows, for the Texas game in 2 weeks, maybe one or neither of us will be able to get a credential. And that's just the reality that we're in right now. It's just going to be different. The atmosphere at the game is going to be different. So that's part of it. And then in terms of finally, actually on the field, what I'll be looking for is, I think the only, and I hope this is the case, this better be the case, the only part of the game where I believe Houston Baptist will truly give Texas Tech a strong look consistently will be the passing game of Houston Baptist with Zach Kitley, of course, Wes Kitley, the Texas Tech's track coach, number one track coach in the country, number one track program in the country. His son, who was served under Coach Kingsbury here, learned the offense. He's taken it to Houston Baptist. He's the offensive coordinator there, and they're putting up big numbers. I mean, they put up 480 yards and 3 touchdowns passing against North Texas last week. Bailey Zapp, I believe is the way you say his name, is the quarterback. Like 480 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's really impressive. And they're going to run up tempo. I believe he put it up in the air 67 times, 67 passes, which is a lot. And that's like what Mahomes used to do at Tech in terms of pass attempts. So up tempo, short passes, a lot of screens. There's going to be a lot of points put on the board. And Tech's secondary, I think, is going to get a look. There's some good receivers for Houston Baptist. We'll see how they hold up. Obviously, that was a weakness. Probably the weakness, other than quarterback play, for Texas Tech last year was they were, I believe, 128th out of 130 Division I schools last year in pass defense. They gave up like 307 yards a game. So that's got to improve if they want to win more games this year. So this is going to be the first litmus test. I want to see how that secondary does. New guys, assuming he suits up, like Eric Monroe, Cam White, some of those guys in the secondary, how they do. I want to see how Texas Tech, if they're able to get consistent pressure, and just what they do with their scheme. Are they going to drop 8 guys like we've seen against, Cliff Kingsbury's offense in the past, or are they going to try and pressure? What are they going to do? So that's going to be what I'm looking for in terms of Texas Tech's defense on the field. Now, offensively, I don't want to be too oversimplified, but I just want to see them execute. Low number of penalties. I want Alan Bowman to be crisp. I want to see how the backup quarterbacks do, whether it be Henry Colombi or Maverick McIver when they come in. I want the offensive line, the interior, who we expect to be a strength of the team, get a consistent push against an undersized and not very deep at all Houston Baptist defensive front. And I want to see what these tackles do. You got Ethan Card starting at left tackle. You got Josh Berger starting at right. I believe they both could be very good. But then again, maybe not too. They could be very inconsistent. So, they should still dominate this Houston Baptist defense. So, I feel fairly confident that's going to happen. The Texas offense is really going to roll. Sir Thompson should have a monster game if he wants to, depending on how much they're going to play him. I want to see how the backup running backs, Chadarius Townsend, Xavier White, and then freshman Taj Brooks, how they do. All of that. I want to see, they need to be crisp, though. They need to dominate this FCS defense. So that's what I'm looking for this week. I want to round it back up just to say I'm just thankful that they're actually playing. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to have something tangible, a sport to talk about. So with that, all Red Raider fans out there, I want to say thank you for watching, and until next time.